Alrighty, so today's June 28th, 2022, and I'm just doing a video recording of old photographs and portfolio evidence of my Gourd art history starting in the 80s. And because of this nice technology, these were all taken with little cameras, all these photos, but now, if you have a big screen, you can see them better. So I started out in Berkeley in the 80s here. They took a picture for the paper and I was making shake arrays, and I used to sit on Telegraph Avenue and make them after learning from people there. This is my friend Anjoni. She had a import shop in Berkeley and she would buy our gourds here, even though she had shake arrays from Nigeria. She was kind enough to sell our things too. And this is in a park in Berkeley. When I first started out with my friend Rayo, he was already a gourd crafter when we met. And he made birabaos, especially in masks. And he's the person who showed me his technique for coloring the mask, which I used later and kind of developed a little more. See, at that time, this is all I did. And we went to another show in Santa Rosa. Back in the day, you didn't have to have an awning. You could just sit on the ground, and I sold out all these in a couple of days. We always sold out everything we made. And then later in the mid-80s, I moved back to Arizona. And that's where when I got together with Lavelle. And he found out what a gourd was and he started crafting. And I kept making shake arrays, and then eventually we used to argue who came up with the idea, but he took his Dremel tool and started cutting gourd pieces out and made earrings, or he would cut them and then I would design them. So we really got busy with that. This was a show in Mount Lemon. Here's the same show in Mount Lemon. And here we went to the farm at that time in Paso Robles, which is now covered by a freeway. But there we camped out for a couple days and worked in exchange for like a year's worth of gourds. And there's Edna here, if anyone knew Edna and Al. They had a little shop there in Paso Robles. This is a different farm in Sacramento. This was actually the first farm I ever went to. They had a way of cleaning them, and these are some of the first shake arrays I ever made, even before I really knew how to play very well. And no one else was making any, so I just kept making them so people would have them. And so then we're moving into the 90s a bit, and I moved back to Seattle, or Washington State, and I kept making shake arrays. Here I am in John's music store, and at that time in the Wallingford district, and John would buy all my instruments, and he had a good clientele that would buy everything, and I started making more elaborate bead designs. So there's that. And around that time, let's see, in the early 90s, I got together with my son's father and we got married, and we had this little house where I was pregnant. We had a little consignment store, and it was called the Sota Gourd Gallery in Eatonville, Washington. And that's when I really started focusing more on doing bowls. So here's, just gonna kind of scan. Here's a little collage I made that was on a brochure of the bowls, because when Rayo taught me the color technique, which was basically oil pastel. See, all the dark lines are burned, so what you do is you burn into the gourd first and then you apply the color. And I just kind of really got into it and developed some technique for oil pastel making sure that the color stays on the gourd because we sold all these. So, sorry. Here's some more. This one was a 12-inch diameter gourd. Has two sides of it. This one was also pretty large. Takes about a week to do those. These were done on the inside of the gourd. Like this one here was just all burning, no color. I guess I embedded these little beads on the edge. Burning on the inside is more fun because it's softer, the material. There it is on the outside. So you can see I took photographs and then cut them out. So there's that. And then a friend of ours came by and wanted to get me published in magazines. So he came and he created a little studio and took these shots of these pieces. Again, it's on the inside. The photos only show one side, so there's the design changes on when you go around it. This one was symmetric, however. Sorry, I keep clearing my throat. Here's some masks. You know, you just wall hanging kind of thing. All of these sold out the gallery, retail, or how should we say, wholesale, anywhere from 1 to 300-400, and then if somebody would buy things and take them to New York or wherever they took them, they would double the price, you know. But if I sell them myself, I could kind of put a tag on between wholesale retail, because in the world of that, people, gallery owners and stuff, and art dealers, they expect to double the price that the artist gets. So a seller will get as much as the artist in some cases, which is a interesting phenomena. I think a percentage is good, but if I make this and it takes me a week and I get 200 and the market sells it for 400 or even more, depending on where you are. But that was the general price range in the 90s. And then here's this one here. Here's the inside of the gallery at one point. We used all kind of gourds, snake gourds, and these are the same pieces. A man came in and he bought that. I remember the day he bought that for a wedding present for his wife, and he paid the top price for it. I think he paid $350 for it at the time. That seemed worth it to me after all the work. And you know, when you're doing something no one else does on the planet, you tend to think, well, it must be valuable if no one else is doing exactly what you do. You think so. There's a lot of wonderful gourd artists, but we're all so different that there's not a lot of competition, if you know what I mean. So here's a poster. I used to teach workshops, and I liked cutting photos up, making collages. This was a planter. We had it hanging on the front porch of the gallery right here. And there's a funny story. See all those gourds on the front porch? So one day I'm inside taking a nap, and I hear this ruckus, and I go on the porch, and there's this lady. She's taking all the video's gonna stop soon. Okay, anyway, she said, I want to buy all these, and she did. She bought everything that was hanging on the porch, and here we are in Yum. Okay, video's gonna end, and here we go. Little evidence of the past. Thank you for watching.